do when they grow up. Let me tell you about this kid. He's 50 years old now. He owns a metal fabrication company. He stutters. He's got ADHD, dyslexia, probably has autism, and he took welding in high school. He started making things and selling them, and now he owns a metal fabrication business. You see what I want to bring some of my world into your world. And we're not going to diagnose anything because I want to use engineering terminology because I want to bust you out of the thinking. We're going to troubleshoot kids. That's an engineering term. We're not going to diagnose them. Okay, you hear a word, you see a word, you speak a word, or you think about a word, different parts of the brain turn on. Now you've got to have inter-office communication to make the brain work. This is where you get problems in developmental disorders and you get problems with head injuries because you rip up the inter-office circuits. There's my head. Now you can see down there below in that picture that there's little threads there. These are nerve tails, they call them axons. They go together into fiber bundles, like fiber optic cable bundles, wire up the inter-office connections. And if there's something wrong with those circuits, if you get a head injury, you just tear them up. You get a developmental problem, some of them don't grow. I think the connectome's really pretty without my head. Now that's a circuit for speak what you hear. Speak what you see. Speak what you see. It goes from the visual cortex to the speech areas. That's a normal one. And that's mine. I got a lot of extra bushes. Now at what point are extra bushes abnormal? It's a continuum. A brain can be more thinking, or a brain can be more social emotional. If there's no speech delay, some of it's just normal variation. And why are some of these Asperger type of kids having more trouble today where there's no speech delay? Because they aren't taught social rules in the same rigid way that us old people were taught in the 50s. You were taught to shake hands. You were taught how to eat. You were taught it much more structured, rigid way. And they're having more problems. Also, people get too top down and locked into the labels. They go, they talk about the stress of having an autistic kid. You got a severe autistic kid, they can't do anything, that's nonverbal, can't shower, dress themselves. Yeah, that's really stressful. That's a very different deal than an Asperger kid that ought to be headed to Google. You know what? Been to Google, been to Microsoft, been to NASA. Half the people there are on the spectrum. Been there, seen that. They're trying to bust you out of their silo. Because I make a point of doing different talks between the silo. I like the variety. But 2 days ago, I was looking at tool balancers at a meatpacking plant. And now I'm here. But there's a relationship between these things. Now, I want to see kids being successful. That's what I want to see. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's my circuit to speak what I hear. I'm not an auditory learner, I can tell you that right now. Use the thing that works the best. People fight over teaching reading. I don't care what method you use to teach reading. Can you read USA Today? Can you read an article about fires? Can you read an article about a bus hitting a truck? Just basic reading. I'll use another construction example. We're building a new biology building and a new chemistry building. And one has a steel frame construction and the other has a concrete frame. It doesn't matter, because when they're both done, they're going to be really super nice. Doesn't matter what kind of frame they have. Now, if I'm in an earthquake zone, I'm going to go with the steel. If I've got to withstand a big tsunami going through the building, I'd like to keep the top floors intact. I'll go with larger columns on concrete. Normal places, it doesn't matter. We get too hung up on the top-down stuff. We got to get a lot more into results. You know what our meat industry had to learn on supply chain management? And that applies to you guys too. We don't push the cattle through the system. You pull the meat through the system. Customers, you pull it through. We got to be looking at the goal. Yeah, I don't want that kid to end up in the basement when he ought to be working for Google or fixing trucks. Develop the kid's strengths. Some kids like me are visual thinkers. Strengths will often show up in 3rd or 4th grade. Good at math? Then give him advanced math. I saw something on a slide here about the age appropriate. You know what? If he's in 3rd grade and he can do high school math, let him do it. And you know what the price of some of the math lessons online is? Free. Free. Yeah, and I'll give you a little hint on how to find cool visual math lessons. Use Google Images for search. And when you type in geometry, you'll find some obscure, fabulous free websites.
Yes.
Okay, my art ability showed up in 3rd grade. It was always encouraged, and I was encouraged to do lots and lots of different kinds of art. And art became the basis of my design work. And don't make the kid do baby little math. And I don't buy this political correctness that 4th graders can only read 4th grade books. Bull. If the 4th grader can read high school books, let them have them.
Mm-hmm.
No, and the skills will be uneven. Because that kid that can read high school books might need some special ed math. Now here's a picture a young man sent to me to show how he thinks in pictures. Pictures in his head, that's how I think. I used to think everybody thought in pictures. It's been interesting for me to learn how different minds think differently. Okay, there's one of my systems right there. Steel and concrete work. Draw the drawings for that. I gotta sell that job, I gotta design it, I gotta supervise it, and then I've got to start it up. It's that simple. Finish it, make it work. That's what you do. And I like to show off this stuff because I want to show I have this whole other life. It has nothing to do with autism. I had a really fun time at the plant. It was just good to get out and do some of that stuff again. Okay, there's a replica of the movie build of one of my dip-fat systems. And there's one of the construction projects getting started. Okay, here's one of my drawings. So when you're socially awkward, how did I deal with interviews? I laid my drawings out, 30-second wow. Portfolio. When you're weird, you sell yourself based on your portfolio.
Yes.
You gotta have a good portfolio. Don't put too much junk in it. That's how I sold Car Deal originally. Back in the late 80s, I sent a portfolio to Bill Fielding, head of Car Deal. It had a big drawing in it like this. It had a nice brochure. It had pictures of jobs and some articles. Not too much junk. Nothing about autism. You know, we got to work on selling that work. See, autism's turned into such a quagmire, big spectrum. You know, this is the problem. It's the diagnosis really got messed up with the 2013 revisions. The guys in the hotel rooms, I don't know what happened to them. They weren't thinking very well. Every time I see those boardrooms in the hotel, I think about the guidelines. And I'm not going to call them medical diagnoses. I'm going to call them guidelines. That's actually our industry term for our stuff that we do, whether it's safety, food safety, animal handling. Now, I realized my thinking was different, and I was shocked to find out, this was quite a long time ago, I asked a speech therapist to think about a church steeple, and I was shocked to find out that she saw this vague generalized thing. I don't have a vague generalized thing. I only see specific ones, because I'm a bottom-up thinker. I'm not top-down. And here, they can kind of go up in different ones like this, and they flash into my mind. Now, the more steeples I've seen, the better concept I have of what a church steeple is. I can start to sort them into cathedrals and chapel types and New England types. Bottom-up thinking. Concepts are formed with specific examples. It's bottom-up. So my approach to education is, I want to look at specific examples of the worst schools, specific examples of the best schools, and what are the outcomes. Okay, one kind of situation, the kids need to go into Google. Somewhere else, they need to be going to the old Montfort Fab Shop. That's my old stomping grounds. It's now the JBS Swift Diesel Repair Shop. And if they want to go get a job there, they're hiring right now. They can go walking around the place where I did a lot of my equipment building there. Montfort Fab Shop, they're hiring. I can't even say that word without getting kind of choked up. Because some of the best times I had in my life was sitting around with the construction guys. We talk about two things. We talk about how to build stuff, and then we talk about how stupid the suits are. We realize, you know what the problem with the suits is? Too top down. They're not getting out in that plant and actually finding out they're putting 2 trolleys on a tool balance. Are we really dumb? Yeah, that was some top down thinking that just didn't work. Okay. Well, I've done brain scans that show that I got a big circuit here for visual thinking. Yep, visual thinking is something I'm good at. Yep, now what's blue in that brain scan is full of water. And you can see an asymmetry there, trashed out the algebra department. I'm really concerned that a lot of smart kids are getting screened out by the algebra department. Not allowed to take diesel mechanics because they couldn't do algebra. That's bull. I am seeing kids that do all this fancy math. They cannot find the area of a circle. I have designed hydraulic and pneumatic equipment. You have to know how to find the area of a circle the size cylinders. You absolutely have to. They can't find the area of this room to figure out how much carpet to put in this room. Simple math I learned in elementary school. I'm hearing about teachers, and this is stuff I've heard just in the last year. A third grade teacher, I had dinner with her. She got in trouble for teaching a third grader borrowing and subtraction. See, one of the problems I have is I got no working memory.
That's it.
I've got to make the marks on the page. Got to. Got no working memory. I got lots and lots of hard drive. I guess it's cloud now. Okay, so I got cloud. But I don't have working memory. So in engineering, we have to do what's called a workaround. And you give the kid a pilot's checklist on how to do the Starbucks coffee machine. Step 1, tear down, little pilot's checklist. Don't load the working memory. They don't have any. Okay, it doesn't work again. You weren't rubbing the mouse pad enough. Okay, yes, okay, there's the pilot's checklist. Okay, here's one of my most important slides. The different kinds of minds. And I talk about this in my book on the autistic brain. And there's evidence-based bits. You want evidence-based? The autistic brain book's got the evidence-based for what's on this slide. Brain scan research. I'm a photorealistic visual thinker, can't do algebra. Why don't let the kid take geometry? What is this thing with algebra? And it's holding back too many kids. And then you have the mathematical thinker. They think in patterns. Don't think in pictures. Often have trouble with reading. But you mathematical minds say we got to do algebra. You still need it as visual thinkers. Because we got to prevent mistakes like the Fukushima nuclear power plant mess. That was a visual thinking mistake. So basic. I couldn't believe they made it. It's not really smart when you live next to the sea to put equipment, emergency cooling pump, and generators, electrical things, in a non-waterproof basement. Simple, watertight doors, it would not have happened. I'm also going to have to build a snorkel for the generators so they can breathe and not poison everybody in the basement. But that's simple stuff. That's the kind of stuff that we did all the time. We need the different kinds of minds. Let's look at the iPhone. Steve Jobs was an artist. That's why the phones are easy to use. And the mathematicians had to make the inside work. See, that's where you need the different kinds of minds. Then you have the verbal guy. Most people are mixtures, but when you have sort of developmental difference, good at one thing, bad at something else. And there's evidence-based for this. Those visual thinkers, they need to be out in the shop. Okay, who builds a Cargill plant? Who builds a Tyson plant? How does this work on the construction team? You know who lays out the whole entire plant? Or the airport lays out all the baggage handling systems? The draftsman. Who invents the really clever piece of mechanical equipment? It's a quirky, crazy guy down in the shop. And what's a degreed engineer do? We need him. He has to calculate the roof trusses so the roof doesn't fall. He calculates, he does all the boilers, steam pipes, soil compaction. Yeah, we got to have that. But if you don't have the other people, you don't have a very good job. You got to have the whole team. All right, use a variety of teaching methods. You know, don't get hung up on this top-down stuff. The problem in education is the word thinkers have taken it over and made it way too top-down. Now, I read these posters around here. All right, it's very abstract, very vague. Give me specific examples of some of the stuff you're doing wrong, some of the stuff that you're doing right, because it's all too vague. I write guidelines for meatpacking plants. 5 things, simple things meatpacking plants got to do to pass a welfare audit. You can't shoot dead 95% of the cattle on the first shot to fail the McDonald's audit. It's that simple. If you poke too many, if you poke more than 25% of electric pride, you're going to fail. If more than 1% of the cattle fall down, you fail. And if they're mooing in the stun box, you fail. Yeah, simple stuff. Very, 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 very simple. You know, that anybody in the plant can understand. Worked beyond the wildest dreams. You want to read about it? You can look it up on Google Scholar. Look up on my name under Google Scholar. You can find it. Okay, different ways to teach algebra. Yeah, make it more visual. The thing that needs to be, you know, the mathematicians say, well, you gotta know algebra because it's used to do airline scheduling. I said, why don't you tell me how to use it in airline scheduling? Make it, tie it back to something practical. I care about airline scheduling. Yeah, but somebody else has to get out in the field on that because United got a whole lot better when Oscar, the new CEO, got there. You know what first thing he did? For airline scheduling, didn't revolve algebra. He put more time in the schedule. He goes, duh, you can't de-ice a plane in 15 or 20 minutes. Duh. Yeah, had to get out to the airport and actually see it. How long they were waiting in line to get on to Denver's de-icing pad, I can tell you. Been there enough times. Image search. Use image search. Look up math stuff. You'll find beyond fabulous stuff. Use it for some other things too. Click on the website. Look at the website. You'll find really cool stuff. All right, give you a glimpse into the mathematical mind. That praying mantis is made out of a single sheet of folded paper. And what's in the background is the folding diagram. That's not my mind. That's the pattern thinker. That's the pattern thinker. Okay, we're not working again. You have to keep touching the mouse pad. That's it. You've got to just stand there and keep touching. That computer's set to go to sleep in like 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, now we've shut it off. Okay, there's some great little origami things. There I am doing hands-on stuff. If I hadn't had hands-on stuff in school, I would have gone absolutely no place. Absolutely no place. That's saving. Also, hands-on things teach practical problem solving.
Yeah.
We've got young people going to policy day. All they want to do is policy. Well, they don't have any practical problem solving if they haven't done hands-on stuff. And it's not working again. Next slide, please. Okay, let's skip that. All right, here's one of my super important slides. Bottom-up thinking. There's 2 ways to approach problems. Top-down, big theories. Education's really horrible at that. And the other thing is bottom-up. Specific examples create concepts. That's why you got to get these kids out doing things. Because you got to fill up their mind with a lot of web pages. Imagine you got a really good Google in here, but you got to fill it with web pages. Social skills web pages, there's all kinds of web pages. All concepts are learned by putting specific examples into categories. It's bottom up, not top down. And there's a lot of people, I know there's people here involved with the government here, be doing a lot more bottom up thinking. You need to look at these posters here and go, okay, what are some things we can put into specific examples? Good stuff and bad stuff. We got to remember what the goal is. The goal is the kid stays out of trouble with the law. He doesn't collect on the public dole, and he supports himself in a career hopefully he's going to like. Maybe he gets married and has kids. That's a success. And I can think of stuff that's not successful. Drug addict.
Yeah.
I just read hideous statistics on that in USA Today, like 1 in 10, something awful like that. Or ends up in trouble. See, that's pictures showing how a kid is putting dogs and cats into categories in his brain, sorting them. It's the bottom-up approach. Play games with categories. You know, you can have a thing that's both red and it's rectangular. And when I was in high school, they used to bully me and call me tape recorder because I always use the same phrases. But you get the kid out doing more stuff, then you put more phrases in their head, then it'll be less like a tape recorder. You gotta fill the database. You gotta fill up that database doing things. Teach number concept. You can have different numbers apply to like water bottles, pens, 2 people, 2 cars, 2 buildings. Cooking is a great way to teach a lot of math. We can work a lot of practical math into cooking, sewing, woodworking, steelworking, fractions. You can cut up a piece of fruit and you understand half of something, half a pizza. And some of the mathematicians say you gotta use the number line. I'm not gonna throw away the number line. For some kids you start with the pizza first, half a pizza, half a number line. You're using both methods. Physician